I've been playing mobile games since around 2018, but I have never encountered a challenge as tough as bombing Shutter Island. Have any of you given it a shot? There are a few things you need to have before attempting this challenge. I haven't tried these challenges in mobile only lobbies yet because most of my friends play on PC. So I believe these are PC lobbies, which I assume are very competitive compared to just touch devices. I'm not saying touch devices are easy, it's just how it is. And all the people who are on the leaderboard, I often meet them, so it proves what I'm talking about. That means those guys are also in the same platform. If you're feeling confused about what this event is, it is when you jump into a specific spot in Shutter Island and then collect a fuel cell. What happens next is your whole game turns into a challenge because let's face it, redeployment stops. This means if you die, you can't come back. Your teammates can't buy you back. It's game over. Once you acquire the cell, you are marked on the minimap all the time, making you an easy target for others trying to take you down. This adds an extra challenge. Plus, you have to win the match to bomb Shutter Island. So in this video, I will show you how my teammates and I were able to secure victory with the nuke. First, I will share how we failed in our initial attempts, but once you get the hang of it, you can do this often. That's how most people on the leaderboard hit hundreds and hundreds of them. Also, there's a sneaky trick you can use to win, and I will expose that in this video too. If you are aiming for a genuine win, I will walk you through the steps I followed and how I achieved success. Keep in mind, if it is your first time, it might be a little tricky. The first requirement is having a solid team. While you can collect the fuel cell alone, queuing solo, your chances of survival are significantly lower. In these Shutter Island matches where redeployments happen frequently and squads are common, it's nearly impossible to win, let alone survive alone. So ensure you have a competent team of 4 players. The numbers advantage is crucial. I'll demonstrate its importance next. Firstly, you need to clear out the area where you'll have to collect the cell. Typically 3 or 4 teams land in the same location, attempting the same objective of collecting the fuel cell. However, in some matches it might be surprisingly easy if nobody else arrives. Yet in other matches it's a real struggle because if you die and only 3 of your teammates remain, your team cannot retrieve it. Moreover, you need to prevent other teams from getting it until your teammate returns. If another team acquires it, nobody else can get it in the same match. If they die, that's it. If they win, they score the point. Once all 4 teammates are near the fuel cell, you can acquire it. But acquiring it means the hardest challenge begins. When you get the fuel cell, you'll be marked on the map all the time, alerting all the other teams that you have gotten the item. And that's when the real game begins. In the following gameplay footage, you will see people trying to get on our nerves, attempting to kill us and prevent us from winning the match with the fuel cell, ensuring that Shutter Island remains safe and not blown up. It's annoying, but that's the challenge. And that's what we all love, right? Well, not really. It's so frustrating. The worst part is, once they win, you remember their name and you can seek revenge next time, no matter what. Well, we did. I'll show that too. Did you notice as we are heading to the safe zone where we acquired the cell, these guys are already there, ensuring that we didn't make it to the safe zone. That's the nature of this challenge. It's very tough because if one of your teammates dies, that's it. So you have to stick together all the time to ensure everyone's safety. If someone gets knocked, you have to make sure they aren't killed because if they are, there's no coming back. That's the hardest part. People not sticking together. It's really challenging to keep everyone together because everyone has different instincts, right? Once they spot an enemy or deal damage to an enemy, they tend to rush in and try to take them out, often resulting in their own demise. Here we have 2 teammates already down. I tried to save the second one, but unfortunately I wasn't quick enough. But there are only 2 of us left and the enemy team has the numbers advantage. That's why I emphasize the importance of sticking together and working as a team to win this challenge. Another important strategy is to avoid unnecessary conflicts with teams that aren't actively trying to interfere with your objective. If a team comes after you, focus on dealing with them and don't engage with other teams. Engaging with multiple teams can attract unwanted attention and increase the likelihood of retaliation. It's crucial to keep the threat level to a minimum as you work towards completing the match with the nuke. Engaging with other enemies may be unavoidable at times, especially if you need to reach the safe zone and encounter hostile teams along the way. However, it's important to assess the situation and prioritize your safety. If you don't have your full team with you, attempting to confront a full enemy squad can be risky and decrease your chances of survival. In such situations, it might be best to avoid direct confrontation and focus on regrouping with your team or finding a safer route. In this scenario, a rival team managed to acquire the fuel cell, and given their status on the leaderboard, leaderboard, it's clear they pose a significant threat. However, we refuse to let them walk away with the victory uncontested, especially considering the times they have hindered our progress. While we may not gain anything from this retaliation, it's our chance to settle the score and give them a taste of their own medicine. It's worth mentioning that many players on the leaderboard achieve their victories through a less than honorable tactic, camping outside of the safe zone and relying heavily on healing items. This strategy may secure wins, but it's far from admirable and can be considered cheating. Personally, I refuse to adopt such unsportsmanlike methods. The individual you saw earlier who ultimately claimed the victory likely employs the same strategy, which may explain their impressive tally of nukes. While they may have the numbers in the leaderboard, they certainly don't have our respect. It's indeed disheartening that some players exploit the healing mechanics by constantly replenish their health outside of the safe zone, while those of us who actively engage in the gameplay, eliminating enemies and making the strategic moves, may ultimately fall in the battle. These campers can outlast everyone else simply by staying alive outside of the zone. It's a frustrating reality of the game, but one that we must navigate nonetheless. Alright, let's dive back into the action. Here's the first time I bombed Shut Island, and guess what? We pulled it with just 3 players. Collecting the fuel cell was easier with fewer of us, but we played it safe to avoid any unnecessary slip-ups. Check our strategy and let me know what you think. Did we do great, okay, or bad? Well, we won the match, so that's a win in my book. But ultimately, it's up to you to decide. One thing for sure, we played fair and square. No camping outside of the safe zone and healing up for us. That's just not our style, even if it means missing out on the leaderboard. Here's a tip for you. Make sure you upgrade your armor as much as possible before the action heats up. Since you won't be engaging with enemies a lot, your armor will not upgrade automatically during the match. Plus, there's no point in hoarding cash because you can't bring back your teammates once they are down. So use that cash to boost your armor and grab yourself a top-notch weapon. Stay prepared for action all times. At the start, things were pretty intense with teams coming at us every 10 seconds, but eventually they got busy fighting each other, giving us a breather. Sometimes you gotta play it safe and camp out. Let's face it, you don't have a second chance in this match. You have got to stay alive and help your team secure victory. So rushing isn't always the best strategy. Sometimes it's better to hold your ground. Now I hope you see the perks of sticking together. It was easier for us with just 3 people. If A is here, then B is here. Simple as that. Most of the time when we encountered enemies, it was 3 versus 1 or 2. The enemy team wasn't as strong as in that split second, giving us the upper hand. Here's what we were doing: reaching the safe zone as safely as possible and staying on the edge, avoiding unnecessary fights with other teams because there are still plenty of enemies out there. Watch how we ensure everything is safe around us. It's crucial to choose good strikers too. For example, if you go with a striker like Ran, you can block the enemy's path, which is amazing. A striker like Zero who can quickly change position is also incredibly helpful. And of course, having healing strikers like Emma or EMT is a must. Now things get really interesting when we are down to the top 3 teams. Notice how my armor isn't fully upgraded, which might put us at a slight disadvantage against our enemies with maxed armor, but I'll give my best shot. And honestly, Emma really helped me keeping up with these enemies. At this point, I thought we were done for. One teammate is dead and the other one is knocked down, and I'm knocked down too. But you know what saved us? My revive kit and me being Emma. And guess what? We eventually did it. Before we wrap up, make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow's video because we are getting a brand new Ultra Striker skin for Zero. I can't wait to see what the execution will be and how awesome this striker will look in game. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'll be uploading the unlocking of this striker skin earlier than anyone else.